Just on the gay marriage issue, how do you think the process ought to proceed here? Because you've got Eric Abetz on one hand saying that any frontbencher who speaks out against the current policy should resign, and Christopher Pyne on the other hand says that's not helpful. Who are you with on that?
Well, I don't believe that you should be redefining marriage. I see marriage as a reflection of what I have, what my parents had, what my grandparents had. It's not about equality. I just see them as two different things. I don't want to be flippant about it, but I just find that if you go into the Parliament and say, I'll put through a piece of legislation that redefines an aspect, therefore that is now the case. I say, no, that is now a piece of legislation. Marriage for me is in the traditional form, and we'll see where the debate goes. I'm happy that people are being treating this item with respect, or they should, but I want to make sure that, in life, everybody doesn't get everything they want. It's sometimes a tough game, and I'll be supporting traditional form of marriage and not redefining it.
Why, though, if you redefine it, why does that reflect on your marriage or your parents' marriage or anybody else's?
It's just because intrinsically what I believe that I have and they had and people in the future have is a process that's inherently there for the support of children, or given the prospect of children or the opportunity of children. I think that every kid has a right, absolute right to know her or his mother and father, and also should be given the greatest opportunity to know their biological mother and father, and premised around that is how I've resolved myself to the position on marriage.
Because you did say at a rally a few years ago that of your 4 daughters that they would be affected in some way if same-sex marriage was allowed. How so?
Well, I don't know quite what your quote is there, but on the premise,
there's a rally in Canberra.
I know where it is. I know exactly what I said, but I don't think that's precisely my quote. But let's go to that issue. I want to stand with the current definition of marriage. I think it has been trialled by time, by thousands of years, across multiple cultures, across multiple faiths, and I just think it's. I just don't think that us going into the Parliament, making a definition into something that it's not, solves any problems. I think it could actually create problems. I don't think if you go and pass a piece of legislation and said that a diamond is a square makes diamonds squares, they're two different things. They're not. It's not making a value judgment about either. They're just two different things.
Do you think it has an impact in terms of our relationship with Asia, as Eric Abetz seems to suggest?
I think that Eric is right in saying where we live economically is Southeast Asia. I mean that's where our cattle go.
Do we then look to that area for our cultural values?
Well, not necessarily, but I don't think that it's.
Because Malaysia would hardly be the best example, would it?
Yeah, well, yes, I don't think Almo Ibrahim would be terribly happy about the definitions as he sees them as to how his government may see them. But I think that what we have to understand is that when we go there, there are judgments, whether you like it or not, that are made about us, and they see in how we negotiate with them whether they see us as whether they see us as decadent. Now, people say, well, that's outrageous. How can you make that? Well, that is a statement that is how.
So would they see us embracing gay marriage as decadence?
I think that in some instances they would, yeah.
Yeah.